Born to Shine is India's first scholarship event for girl child prodigies in the field of art and culture. It is a flagship CSR program where we work towards providing encouragement and growth opportunities to the girl child prodigies. We want to make sure that the talent of these girls does not go unnoticed. These prodigies have the capability of representing our culture on global stage if they are rightly identified, nurtured and honed with proper guidance. So, Born to Shine brings to you the Knowledge Series, where we will be talking to experts from various fields of Indian art and culture. These experts will be sharing their exceptional knowledge of Indian art and sharing their guidance with our child prodigies. With this series, we are sure to answer a lot of your queries about who is a prodigy, how to identify a prodigy, and most importantly, how to nurture a prodigy into shaping them to be the stars that they are.
Hi, I am Dr. Devsana Desai. Welcome to the Born to Shine Knowledge Series. I am the Associate Director for Kaveri Group of Institutes. I look into the counseling and gifted programs. And today we would like to talk about the pioneering institute, Kaveri Gifted Education Center.
As we all know that gifted kids are extraordinary and unusual. These kids need special kind of training and treatment from their parents and teachers. Kaveri Gifted Education and Research Center believes these kids are the change makers and future of India. And they have special gifted nurturing program for children and a katta where these kids are allowed to make anything they like or explore whatever they want to. KGERC also provides a professional development course for teachers to help them identify the gifted children in their classroom. So to know more, let's meet the founder director of KGERC, Mrs. Malati Kalmadi, in today's Knowledge Series.
Welcome, Malati.
Thank you, Devasena. I'm very happy to be in this Born to Shine Knowledge Series. And a little introduction about myself, that I am the Managing Trustee of Kannada Sangha that runs the Kaveri Group of Institutes. Now, to give you a little history of how we embarked on the gifted program is because I was doing a course in Jnana Prabodhini, and as I was doing the course, I wrote a thesis on gifted underachievement.
Wow.
And as I was doing this course, I realized that my experience as a teacher in the school for 3 years and my own personal experience, where I had a brother who was, according to me, very gifted because he was able to use his engineering skills at a very young age. But then he got into bad company, he was into drugs, and I realized that if we do not address the needs of these children, and if these children do not get the support at home and in school, then these children cannot become nation builders, but they would be spoiling their own lives. So at that time, I realized that being in the space of education, that we really need to do something for these children with high ability. Although we started the school in 1960, and you know that the English medium is now celebrating 50 years, the Golden Jubilee.
Wow, that's nice.
It was only in 2009 that we started the gifted program exclusively in the Kaveri schools, group of schools. And very slowly, in 2014, we started the gifted program for Pan India.
Wow.
We started the Kaveri Gifted Education and Research Center, which really took care. We worked towards identifying and nurturing the gifted across India. So we have several programs which we undertake and in this center.
As the founding director of KGERC, it's a very courageous step from the Kaveri Group of Institutes to take to include giftedness as a part of education and school. So how did you go about that?
As you know, the population of children in India is almost 35 crores.
Yeah, that's right.
And out of this 35 crores, we have about 3 to 10% who are naturally children with high ability. What are we doing towards them is a concern that made me sleepless.
Okay.
And I said that what can we do for these children? Because here India is struggling towards education for all. And over and above, I wanted this gifted program to be an inclusive program.
In schools?
Yes, in schools.
Do you think there was it's too late to have been a part of including giftedness in the schools? Because most schools would rather focus on we would say in the spectrum, that below average and the average. But very few really deal and talk about giftedness.
See, what happens is our empathy in a school system is always for children with less ability.
That's right.
And with special needs. That has to be there. And what happens is the teachers' community, their focus is on seeing that academically we get 10% results.
That's true.
So every school community works towards the average and the below average. And the above average and the children with high ability are left to themselves. So at the Kaveri Gifted Education Center, what we concentrate upon is creating an awareness in our teachers.
That's beautiful.
Saying that these children are also special children and they have special needs. And what is the special need is that schools have to develop methodologies, have to develop strategies which will help these children really take them to another level. Now, in a school system, we have many programs. I call them enrichment programs. We have children with talent in music who shine there. We have children who are very good in mathematics, going for quiz competitions.
And even Olympiads and scholarships.
Yes, scholarships, Olympiads. So they are already doing such things, scholarship exams. But what happens is, what the Kaveri Gifted Education Research Center is doing or is aiming at, our vision is every teacher has to consciously work towards uplifting these children. Because when we devise programs, we design programs with attention, at that time, it really reaches. It is not like, you're just putting something and by chance it reaches.
You're expecting that something comes out of it, but it has to have a direct focus.
Yeah. It has to have a structure and it has to be created with a real thought in mind that I am enabling this child who has got high ability to be really, we are nurturing that child's ability. So at that time, the child will benefit. So if we want a gifted child to be benefit, the school system has to really work towards enabling this child.
Together completely.
Yeah.
So what I see is that you have looked into the child's needs in the school. You've looked into what needs to be done for teachers. How do you really build a vision for the institution as a whole? Because I'm sure the principals and the heads have to be a part of this entire journey.
So what we did, in fact, I have done the training for myself to go deep into the gifted program. And I felt that every principal has to undergo the training herself.
To understand better so that they can plan.
Because she can lead.
Definitely.
If we do not have the principals trained, then it becomes only a bandage.
That's
the program becomes a bandage. So it's only fixed, you are fixing a problem. It doesn't flow in the school system.
About 8 years back, I took a training from the KGERC, that is Kaveri Group of Education and Research Center. And I did both the basic course and the advanced course in gifted education. This was quite a rigorous course where initially we were told about all the principles and theories about education, about the stalwarts in education like Renzulli, Piaget, etc. We were also taken an assessment, and we were made to write lesson plans and all that. This was the first time in which we came to know about how to plan a curriculum, how to make lesson plans effectively, and the Gifted Center taught me many things.
So that is why the Kaveri Gifted Education Center has something called Technically Assisted Program. So what we do is, if any school wants it, we run this program in the school, and simultaneously we train a group of people. So we have a teacher coordinator, a gifted coordinator who's handling the program in a respective school, and we help that person understand the program very well, and the school understand. And then after about 2 years, we see that the team slowly pulls out so that the school becomes
Independent
empowered to be handling the gifted program. So although we started in 2014 with the Kaveri group of institutes, it's only in 2022 that we are slowly pulling ourselves out of our schools, so that the schools, the Kaveri group of institutes,
can own it themselves and
they
take
take
it up
ownership
of that.
of the program. So this is very, very important in a school system, because the leader of the school has to understand the importance of developing the needs of our children. Otherwise, this program will remain separate from a school system. And I'm very happy that the National Education Policy today is talking about high ability, finally.
I know, after so many years.
So now everybody in India is saying, "Arey, what are we doing for high ability children?" They are talking about talent hubs. And that is what Kaveri Gifted Education Center has been talking all about.
You've been doing a lot of wonderful initiatives. So how do you go about identifying children in a school?
So what we do is, end of 5th standard, round about age of 11, 10, 11 and above, we conduct a paper pencil test, and along with that paper pencil test, we also do nomination
Wow.
by teachers and by parents. And we collectively have a discussion over the results. And we sit down, the team, the Kaveri Gifted Education Research team, sit with the school teachers, and we discuss every child who has been identified.
Wonderful.
And this, according to us, has helped the underachieving children, because the paper pencil test may not disclose,
Pick up every
may not
kid,
identify
yeah.
them. But when we do this nomination, we have had several teachers saying, but we feel that this child needs to be in the program. And we have included. And some parents tell us, we have tracked this in our child
As well.
So then again we discuss, and so it's a beautiful platform that we have created, wherein just a paper pencil test doesn't do.
So you've looked at overall,
Yes.
how do you really get all the students without missing out the talent of children otherwise which
Yeah.
could have been
Yeah.
missed. After identification, what do you do with these kids? How do you incorporate what plans you have for them in a school system?
See, after we identify these children, we collect them, and we have a beautiful nurturing program,
Okay.
which we take them through, which we call the Panchakosha module. And this is very holistic module.
I think it is elicited from the Panchakosha.
Yes.
So you can bridge with the nurturing program.
Correct. So because we understand the term Panchakosha very well in India, we take care of making the child work first on himself or herself. So the first one is called Swaparichay. Who am I?
Exploring themselves,
Yes.
basically.
So that is exploration, the first stage. And the second stage is Swaruddhi. So here what happens is the child has certain skills. So we see that the child understands who he or she is, and then is working on the skills that they
need to really develop, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then we have the Swa-Uddeshya. This is giving a direction, sense of direction.
I think by then they are about 12 to 13 years
Yes,
old.
they are in the 8th standard.
Yeah.
So in the 8th standard, first of all, they are adolescents.
Yes.
So we take care of their adolescent needs, and there are so many changes happening within them. So at this time, they can
Giving
become...
them a direction really helps them.
Yeah. We really work on making them understand their own tracks.
That they need to go.
Yeah. And by then, there is a certain understanding of what I want to do
For future, they start
for
thinking.
future. It's not very well established, but at least that the beginning has happened.
Started.
And then goes Swaprakasha. Swaprakasha talks about them understanding that, oh, this is it.
What kind of vision they can have
Yeah.
for themselves.
Correct.
Okay, that's
So
beautiful.
it's like, from within they understand, oh, I have these skills, this is the direction I want to go. So that's Swaprakash happens. And finally, it is Swa-Sankalpa. This Swa-Sankalpa is based on our Indian tradition, because the gifts which we receive, this high ability, is not something which
for ourselves alone.
is for ourselves. It is for the benefit of the society. So this is, I call, the highest in spiritualism, and this is the Anandamaya Kosha.
Okay.
When you are serving society, that is the happiness which you need to understand. And this entire Panchakosha module which we have designed is based on this Indian tradition, where you work on yourself for the benefit of
The
society.
society. So beautiful.
Yeah, so you become a sort of a trustee of the gift that God has given you, and you are able to help. I mean, it's more of service, and hopefully that such people will really build a very, very strong nation.
How do parents really work with these children? Because when they are so talented, and you can see that the child can really do a lot of things, be it academics or talent. So what is the role of parents for such children?
See, the role of parents is, first of all, to identify these children and to become aware that my child has high ability. That is first. And after the parent realizes that this is my child, and the child needs some sort of
Support from
yes,
home as well.
From support from home, at that time the parents are unaware of what is the support they could give. So what we have done in our schools, in our institutes, we have prepared parent support group.
Wonderful.
And in this parent support group, we only facilitate. The answers are given by
Parents themselves.
parents
Oh,
themselves.
beautiful.
Because suppose you are a parent, then you say, this is what I did with my child. So like that, it is a community learning
That takes place.
that takes place. And our experts are able to throw in certain suggestions which we know would help our parents. So it is basically for parents, by parents, and of parents, this parent support group. And we are able to help these parents just nudge instead of becoming helicopter parents. Then there is burnout
of the child.
of the child. So in order to create that free space for the child without becoming very overbearing, our team is equipped to facilitate parent support group.
I think you have a full-fledged parent support group all over India, and you have many parents from Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai as well.
Yes, because what happens is we have had few cases wherein they need counseling, high ability. So they are not team players.
That's true.
They can function very well individually.
But not together.
But when it comes to collaboration, when it comes to team work, they are not equipped. So we need to have counseling centers. We need trained counselors
For that as well.
to handle these children so that it takes care of their socio-emotional needs.
as well.
And that is what we do in our Kaveri Gifted Education Research Center. One is we work with teachers.
Yeah.
We train teachers. The other is we create support group for our parents. We have identification, we do nurturing, and more importantly, we train counselors. So we are
Equipped in all directions.
and over and above, because this is a new concept, we are in the process of making policy, putting down our observations into policy so that the nation will be able to help more gifted children.
We'll have more structure, and it creates better systems for schools to adapt, and even have clarity for parents what facilities are available in India and stuff like that.
Because we need accommodations
For such things.
for even children with high ability. Our boards have accommodations, concessions for children with less ability, but we don't have any accommodations or concessions for children with high ability. So we would like to present to the board our observations so that the government will be able to help these children. We have Navodaya schools which is working in the
Rural areas.
rural areas. That's very good. But they are taking care only of
Academic needs.
academic needs. But here we need to look at giftedness in all areas.
In all aspects. As a psychologist, very often parents ask me to what extent they can really, kind of push the children, challenge their children because of their talent. And I'm sure it is a very difficult task for parents, because here you have a child who has so many potentials, and you want as a parent to give the best to them. And today children normally would like that they have a say in the matter. The answer to this for parents would be that they should give them all the opportunities to explore and keep observing how the child feels. When the child is enjoying, it's really very good. That means they are taking their talent forward. But if you find that the child is not enjoying, is started getting unhappy, is very sad, I think that is a sign for us to step back and allow the child to take his or her space.
Yeah. So what I understand from this conversation is that these children need to be engaged in all their activities.
Absolutely.
So that personal engagement is what keeps the activity
And they're motivated basically.
Yeah. So motivation and engagement are very important in any activity that you create for these children. Once you see that these children are not engaged, then there is no motivation to be engaged in that program. So this is something I think we need to.
But I also find that when they reach about 14, 15, when they start having their own self identity, many of them also lose interest. And parents feel very bad because they've spent a lot of time and money. They've taken them for various classes, they have seen tutors or mentors for them. So they feel very lost. I think parents have to give space. It's almost, I would say, like push and pull. When the energy is good, kind of push them. When they're slowing down, give them the support and encouragement, because that's the only one that will help them to really sustain.
And also, at this age, what we have realized in our activities, in our program, is mentoring.
Yes, it's very important.
So real life mentors in areas where these children show talent and are interested has to be identified.
I think in India we have like a guru system where for music, for dance, people can come and approach and they can be there for riyaz and all that for many years. That really helps them. So what kind of nurturing programs you all do at Kaveri Gifted Center?
See, what has happened is, now we had a child who was in the 6th standard, who showed ability and interest in physics. So we saw that this child was able to be mentored by our 12th standard teacher.
Wow.
So we connected the school with the junior college. So this sort of mentoring program is what is needed, and we discussed this with our teachers and we asked them to, in their area of influence, to look out for mentors. So schools should have this identification of mentors as a resource pool
from which you can choose
Yes,
from.
you should be able to choose, because suppose you have
But
mathematics.
every kid will not fit with one particular person. They will need a couple of people basically.
And what we have realized also, that age is something which we need to pay attention to. For children to be sort of influenced, then if they are not very old, then the
You mean to say the mentors should be matching to the child's ability and all that stuff?
Yeah, that bonding, the rapport establishment is what is very important. So we have developed in our center certain criteria for the mentors also, how they should be.
I think you also have the global mentoring program, right?
Yeah,
For
we have.
11th and 12th.
Yes. But that is all again to do with STEM.
Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to Born to Shine YouTube channel and look for more such videos.